The cries of human infants can attract predators, so how did early humans survive? You might think a human infant's loud crying would draw fierce beasts, who would then devour the helpless child. But in reality, when a human infant cried loudly and attracted wild animals, the adult terrifying upright apes, early humans, would surround the predator with spears and beat it to death. The human tribe would then enjoy a feast. The terrifying upright apes would say, "What predators? I don't see any threats. All I see is high-quality protein delivered right to our doorstep." So, except in extremely rare and vicious circumstances, any clueless beast that dares to attack a human infant is like Wu Dalang trying to mess with the Kardashians completely out of their depth. In the animal kingdom, there's often a pattern. The louder the noise made by the young, the slower they mature, the stronger that species is in its ecological niche. Antelope calves can walk within minutes of being born and are very quiet because they're easy prey. Tiger cubs, on the other hand, are born with their eyes closed and cry incessantly. That's because other creatures don't dare prey on them, while human infants not only lack any ability to move, they can't even roll over or lift their heads, and yet they can cry on and off for as long as 2.5 years. This proves that humans were already strong enough in ancient times that their infants could cry without restraint, with no fear of being hunted by wild animals. In fact, early humans might have even used their babies as bait to lure predators into traps. Early humans were truly formidable. They were the kind who never cultivated virtue in their lives, only loved killing and setting things on fire. From the perspective of animals, humans run fast, jump high, can support their whole bodies on just 2 legs, and the other 2 limbs can grasp anything. They can hide, observe, have intelligence, can go 2 days without water and a week without food, withstand wind and rain, heal quickly, and are amphibious. So, the cries of human infants are not the kind of noise that would attract natural enemies. If you listen from the standpoint of a wild animal, it's the terrifying scream of a demon's offspring, meaning that in just a few years, another demon with fire and hair on its head will appear on this land. This isn't the lure of food at all, this is clearly a death sentence. If you say that humans still had natural enemies like saber-toothed cats during the Australopithecus era, by the time of Homo sapiens, once humans learned to make spears, there were no so-called natural enemies left. Spears are simple to make, easy to use, and extremely cost-effective, and they can inflict deadly penetrating wounds. If you add poison to the tip, then there's no animal that can withstand a thrust from a spear, and if there is, you just stab it a few more times. So you see, apart from intelligence, the differences between humans and animals are. Another key difference is the ability to create, use, and improve tools. Today, tools made by humans evolve quickly, and we've even developed high-tech devices like computers and smartphones. It's because we can make our own tools that, to animals, a terrifying commander is like a primitive human in the nascent soul stage, who can craft magical artifacts. Plus, humans are social. Just 4 or 5 people with simple spears or javelins can take down animals under a ton. With just 10 to 15 people armed with simple weapons and stones, even a mammoth could be killed. That's why we always moved around in groups, just like when you see a single cockroach, it means there's already a whole nest of them in your house. For wild animals, spotting a single human child means there's at least a nest of terrifying upright apes within a kilometer radius. Now, let's switch to the perspective of a wild animal. Imagine you're a leopard hunting on the savannah. You hear the cries of some creature, and as you approach, you see it's a human child. Just as you're about to snatch it up in your jaws, suddenly a female bipedal animal appears, confronting you with a wooden stick in hand. While loudly calling for reinforcements, before long, dozens of male bipeds appear around you, each one advancing with a spear in hand. What's even more terrifying is that one of these bipeds is draped in skin. They maneuver and shift positions, all the while keeping a safe distance from you. Without realizing it, you've already been surrounded. In that split second when you're stunned, the spears in their hands suddenly come flying at you. In no time at all, you don't even have a chance to dodge, and so, with a look of terror in your eyes, you're turned into a pincushion. And most crucially, these terrifying staff members are extremely vengeful. In ancient times, the mortality rate among young offspring was high, so the loss of a single young one might not have seemed significant in itself. However, if a young one is lost, it signals that there is danger nearby. The first assumption is that a wild animal has taken it, and unless this hidden threat is eliminated, it's not just one young one at risk, all the young are in danger. If the young are wiped out, the entire group is doomed. Moreover, it's not just the young who are at risk, even the adults can't rest easy, since any one of them could be ambushed by a wild animal when alone. That's why, at such times, humans would typically band together to wipe out all the dangerous beasts in the area. If that didn't work, they'd organize a group to set fire to the mountains using torches or makeshift phones. As humans migrated out of Africa, many mammal species were driven to extinction. The path of human migration and invasion was the path to mammoth extinction. Shifting to agriculture was likely a last resort, as nearly all edible animals nearby had been hunted to near extinction. Without farming, everyone would have starved. The biggest challenge then was too few animals left to hunt, not that they were too fierce. So humans are truly the top players in the Earth Online food chain. The 76th generation should have the right to cry out and wail as they please.